Today we will be discussing the sounds of Star Wars. We'll be pulling apart the music and sounds of Star Wars. So many iconic scores and themes that we will unpack and discuss our favorites. And to help us appreciate the meaning of the music in Star Wars, we have Corey and Drew from the pop punk band Felicity joining us to have this conversation with us.
Hello, guys. How are you
Hello.
going today?
We are good. We are going great.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So, we mentioned before, you guys are a bit of a blend between some like alternative rock, some pop punk, and you're from Orlando, Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yep.
And
That
yes, we
is
are whatever you want to call us. We just write music that we would want to listen to, and yeah, a lot sometimes it's like pop punky. Sometimes it gets a little bit heavier if you're into some like metal a little bit. Then sometimes we write some stuff like that. But we are also huge Star Wars fans, so we're really excited to be hanging out with you guys when
so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
when Nick Broughton offered, talked about us coming on, we're like, yeah, win, just say yes, just give us the details, we'll be there. So
So good. So good.
Can you just let us know about, just a little bit of your band's origins real quick?
Where did you start?
Yeah, I think that's a you question.
yes, I am the one who started the band essentially with our singer Damien. And we started the band. It's honestly been about 7 years now, which is very long in band time. Most bands
Yeah,
last
yeah.
7 days if you're lucky.
Oh, yeah, relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So 7 years ago, I moved to Orlando, Florida, and I was coming here for grad school. And I always played music, always been in bands. I grew up in the Northeast and had been in tons of bands. Some that lasted 7 days, and a few that lasted a little slightly longer than that. But when I moved here and I got I graduated from college, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start a band now because my mom was always in a band in high school. My mom was like, you need to go to college. I was like, okay. So I went to college. So once I finished that, I was like, all right, I'm starting a band. So started Felicity and met our singer Damien on Craigslist, which is where every
Oh,
great
amazing. Yeah, that's every great story starts with that.
story starts on Craigslist.
That's how we all
Um,
found each other,
Actually, every single member of this band was
on
found on
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yeah.
I pretty
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, jeez. Wow.
Yeah. So Damien and I started the band, and we started playing, ironically enough, in his parents' garage, which is also where every great relationship
Yeah, I was about
starts.
to say that's
Um,
incredible. That's great. Every
yeah,
great story.
and after a few years, we had some lineup changes at the beginning with people, different testing out different guys and stuff. But Damien and I have always been there, and then the lineup we have right now has been here for like almost over 5 years. So like majority of the lifespan of the band has been this lineup. So yeah, we found Corey on Craigslist, our bass player Mike on Craigslist, and our drummer Tyler on Omegle, no, Craigslist. And
Imagine. Oh,
7 years later, we are still meeting up, practicing several nights a week, still writing music, still making this our number one priority. And we're all big Star Wars fans, like all the guys in the band, really except for Damien.
Us?
Damien's like on the fence. I'm sure he doesn't dislike it,
I
but
think he's more Walking Dead.
he likes Walking Dead. Like he's
Oh,
like on
yeah,
the Walking
okay.
Dead fandom side.
Yep.
I'm sorry. All I heard was not Star Wars. This is just what I heard.
Yeah.
When you
But,
said Walking Dead.
The
What
rest
is
of us
that?
guys like are huge Star Wars fans. Corey is like probably the biggest Star Wars fan and has the most. He's just surrounded by Star Wars memorabilia right now.
There's a lot of
I was about to say I
Yeah,
just
our
spotted that
lightsabers,
Mando cutout.
just
Oh,
in
and the
case.
lightsabers are out. Oh, yes.
Yes.
You ready?
Love it.
That's incredible. Incredible.
So your new single cover, Watermelon Sugar, is absolutely amazing. As Hannah would say, it's a banger.
It's a banger.
Um,
I got
talk,
it.
can
Yeah,
you just
it's
sort
a
of
banger.
talk us through why you chose that song to cover and how you made it to something somewhat of your own?
Yeah. So we've never recorded a actual cover before. Like we would play covers for like shows and stuff, but we never actually took the time to try to make one and release it. So we felt like, we're not a real band until we actually do. So after years of waiting, we looked for it, and then Watermelon Sugar was just kind of the song that Damien could sing really well. We thought it would sound great if, our sound and genre made it into a cover. And at the time, no band on Spotify had even done it except the main. But
Well, that was after us.
yeah, it was technically after us.
Hey, there you go. They're just copying you now. Yeah.
So it was just a really good summer feel-good vibe. Being from Orlando, it's always summer here, so we just figured it is a good encompassing cover song for us to go out with.
Yeah, and we love the song too, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
and we're like, oh, this could work really well as like a rock song, and that's what really makes any really good song like can be played across multiple genres and it still holds like a really good song. So that goes to show like how awesome of a song it truly is, and how awesome of a songwriter Mr. Harry Styles is, and he just won a Grammy like last week.
Yeah, what an icon. What an icon. Yeah. But yeah, you're definitely right in saying it's very much that like summer song that, you know, super happy, upbeat. Yeah, I absolutely, it's a banger. The way you covered it was absolutely banger. I thought it was really good.
So
I've been cranking it all week. So good. So, Star Wars. Let's dive into it. Let's jump into it.
What even is Star Wars?
What is Star Wars?
What is?
So, first of all, let's just start off easy. What introduced you to Star Wars? When did you first watch it? What was your first experience with it? Either both of you answer this one. Just how did you get into Star Wars first of all?
You can go first.
I first got into Star Wars because I was over a friend's house, and in the 90s, when I was a child, his dad had Star Wars on VHS, and it wasn't like he had like the original VHSs where like it was like the movie posters as the covers, not like special editions, right? And I saw those covers and I was like, I really want to watch those movies. And so I asked my dad, and he took me to the local video rental store, and we rented Star Wars, and I sat with him and watched all three of them, and been pretty much obsessed with it ever since. And that's really what got me into it. And I've gotten to the point where like I played every Star Wars video game.
Yeah.
And my birthday this past year, Corey and I risked our lives to go out during a pandemic to go ride Rise of the Resistance on my birthday. This
Oh wow,
year.
that's amazing.
No lines because everyone was like, no one's going to Disney World because they might die. So, but we risked our lives to ride Rise of the Resistance on my birthday, and it was awesome.
That's so good.
Pretty heroic, if you ask me.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, what about you, Corey?
3 pictures behind me are actually my dad's that he got like when the movies were coming out many years ago. So these are like old images. And I remember as a child he would have them displayed amongst the like living room entertainment system, and I was probably like 4 or 5. And so he introduced me starting with episode 4, and we watched all of them, and I fell in love with him. And so just growing up, I would rewatch him. He would buy me toys, and my brothers all were born in the 70s, and when they were growing up, they had the toys, so I got the hand-me-downs from them, and that was just all I did. And yeah, I pretty much grew up. Once episode 1 came out, I was still a child, and just kind of was in my whole developmental phase.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. So, did you guys go see the prequels as well, or through when they were being released? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen all the ones that, other than the ones that were existed before I've been born. I'm pretty sure I've seen on opening night. You know, midnight showing, have to be there.
Yes.
Can't let anyone spoil anything.
I dressed up as Darth Vader for the episode 3 premiere.
Wow, just like full on, like whole deal.
But yeah, we dressed up as characters.
So good, so good.
Do you have a favorite? Do you guys have a favorite Star Wars theme at hand? I'm gonna ask you the same question too because I want you to answer it.
Okay, I'll think of one.
But what is everyone's favorite Star Wars theme?
Theme? Like the theme song?
Like song?
Yeah. The music. Yeah.
Ooh, I'll go because I know mine.
Yeah.
I've always loved the Han Solo, Princess Leia kind of like love theme. I feel like that always gives me goosebumps, even when it comes back in some of the newer films. Like as soon as they play that, it's like you can't like get those feelings inside. So that's been my favorite, and then my second favorite would be probably the the epic Star Wars theme right when the movie ends, and it says directed by George Lucas, and it's like, "Bow," and just like comes at you 1,000,000 miles per hour. That's like, you cannot not get hype when that hits. So,
Right?
of
It's like
course.
if hyperspace was a sound, it would be the
It
feeling
would-
of that end music coming at you. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, absolutely. So good. Nick, do you have a favorite theme? Do you have a favorite song? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very emotional that one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like a top 3,
A top 3.
and
Okay.
the order changes like every week. So right now, the first number 1 is the Dark Troopers from the Mandalorian.
Oh.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
the second one is Across the Stars. Um, the love theme with
Yeah.
Anakin and
Iconic.
Padme.
Yeah.
If I don't dance to it at my wedding, what was the point? We have to do the whole
What's the
wedding.
point? What's the point? Yeah.
And then the third one is of course Leia's theme. And it's
Yeah, definitely. That was gonna be my favorite. Leia's theme. I cannot like just thinking about it, I like well up. It's just so moving and so good.
yeah.
Yeah, I like like
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Corey, did you say your favorite theme?
No, my 2
Let's hear it.
would probably be Anakin's betrayal. Is
Ooh, yeah.
very climactic, and the whole like light side theme, Luke's theme that was
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
That's just I don't know, just something about it. Just
and that's crazy because no one even said like Imperial March and like the most
Right? I
iconic.
was gonna say.
oh, they're dope, but
Because
like
we would be like normie fans if we said
Yeah.
that. It's like
Yeah, right? You gotta be
Good
different.
point.
Gotta be different.
I'm not
Dark Trooper from Mandalorian theme. That's like only like true Star Wars fans even know what that is.
I feel like Imperial fans would have like Imperial marches or ringtone.
Yeah,
Like it's can't do that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'd write that.
so many good ones though. It's so hard to like even narrow down any of them. And even like when I play Star Wars video games and like you hear the music, you just can't help but like feel weird emotions just from as soon as you hear like the first couple notes, and that's like
Yeah.
really powerful for a movie to be able to do
Yeah.
that, especially with so much music. Like there's
Yeah.
like hours and hours of different themes and music. And
Oh, even the even like Rebels and the Clone Wars, there's just so much music that just
Oh, yeah.
rolls.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's the because we're talking about the Clone Wars, there's the Racing to the Surface that plays when Ahsoka is racing Rex to the surface of Mandalore.
Season 7, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that little score is perfect. And if you listen closely, you can kind of hear a little bit of Ray's theme in there. Don't know if they did that on purpose, but I can hear it.
Mm.
And everyone looks at me like I'm crazy every time I say I can hear it, but I can hear it, and you can't change my mind.
Yeah.
and
That,
also,
yeah.
like no one even said Duel of the Fates, which is like so
True.
fire.
Yeah. It's actually hard to pick a single favorite if you think about it. Yeah, Duel of the Fates. The nostalgia behind that theme is insane. Hey, that is crazy good theme. Crazy good theme. And speaking of just insanely influential Star Wars music, The Mandalorian. I can see that you have a Mandalorian cutout there behind you guys. I'm assuming you're big fans of the show. You enjoyed the show.
Every week,
Yeah.
it's nerve-wracking waiting for the next episode.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Oh, yes.
Rewatch the episodes through the week just to like get that
Oh,
crave.
yeah. You got to get the hype up going again and like ramp it up. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
that second season is like, in my opinion, best Star Wars canon since Disney has taken over. Like I could rewatch the second season of Mandalorian before I would, like if I had to, before I would watch any of the newer movies or things like that. Like that season, just every episode was just me texting my friends. Holy shit, did you watch it yet? Oh my god, stop what you're doing. You need to watch it right. What are you doing?
Like every episode had that like
And just even the beginning theme, it's only just a couple notes of just this very frail melody. And it's not like backed by tons of percussion or rhythmic measures. So, but the fact that it can just be such a small standalone like instrument that sticks out and supports that becomes iconic and recognizable from day one was impressive and alone for it.
Yeah, and it definitely had like this kind of like Western vibe,
Yeah.
like an old Western. It felt like more. The score felt more like an old, like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly type Western movie than it felt like a Star Wars like space movie, which was really cool. I thought like it helped set the tone of what the series was, which is a little bit more of like a slow burn than you'd expect from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
what a space cowboy would sound like.
Yeah.
That's like what
That's so true. Yeah, that is so true. And I think you made a good point there, Corey, of that first melody we hear, and it's become so iconic. And the second we start to hear like the first 2 bars of it, we're like, oh yeah, Mandalorian. And it's so iconic now. But even though it's just a couple of those notes, I think it's very symbolic of what the Mandalorian is. He's this, lone wolf, solo kind of ranger going about the galaxy. And I love that whole idea that Star Wars really does like to mirror a lot of their motifs and themes all throughout, through the music, through the visuals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a really good point there. Musically, it's very symbolic of what we're seeing on screen. Actually,
So-
just sticking on Mando season 2 though, I do have to ask, do you guys have a favorite episode from season 2?
There is a correct answer.
Okay, so if I had to say what episode I think was the best, I would say the big like Boba Fett episode with the big reveal when you see Slave One flying through the sky. But I personally like the last episode was my favorite, just because like
Neither one of those were the correct answer. I'm just kidding. I promise.
for me, it was the last episode, just because like personally, Luke Skywalker when I was a kid was my favorite. As I got older, I kind of started being more into Han Solo. Han Solo's become like probably my favorite character. But as a kid, like Luke was the guy. Like that was the hero. When you were playing Star Wars out with your friends and like hitting each other with sticks, everyone's like, I want to be Luke. I want to be Luke. Like, all right, I guess I'll be Chewbacca, right? But like I felt personally, my personal opinion was with the newer trilogy of movies that Luke kind of like, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. Like it didn't feel like Luke to me. Like what I mean, he was a little bit more comedic. I was like, Luke's not really that funny. Like, why does he have all these funny lines? Like that's not how he is ever really been portrayed. Some of the lines and things he said, I was like, Luke wouldn't say that. It felt like you've changed, man. And then I feel like this brought a full circle of like seeing the Luke I remembered as a kid, and it was really cool for me. So that's why I like the last episode the best.
Yeah. And just on that, did you have a theory that it would be Luke? Like, were you expecting it? Was it a total shock to you that it was Luke in that final episode? When did you realize that it was Luke?
As soon as I saw the ship land and like the black cloak, I was like, all right,
yeah. I think it was when I saw the X-Wing. I was like, no fucking way.
Right? Yeah.
All of us would play Star Wars Battlefront 2 and like just like talk online and about like what we thought. And we had like weird theories, but yeah, pretty much once I saw the X-Wing,
we're like, it's gonna be Cal Kestis.
Dude, that was so dope.
I had this theory too. I was certain it was Cal Kestis. I was so set on that. Yeah, no.
I thought they were just gonna not necessarily be boring, but I just kind of was like, oh well, Ahsoka was in like 2 episodes before this. She's probably gonna be like, JK, I'm gonna train him.
Just change your mind. Yeah. Well, glad Yaddle should have come in. Do you think like Yoda species would have to have like an extra small ladder that they would have to climb down, or would they just like backflip out of an X-Wing? Yeah, oh, absolutely. Oh, too good. And Corey, what about you? What about your favorite Mando season 2 episode?
Oh man, definitely the ending with Luke, only because out of the Disney movies, Rogue One with the ending scene of Darth Vader just like wrecking all the rebels was like my favorite scene from the new movies.
Perfection.
Like the same thing with Luke. I was like, this is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
I'm really happy now. But I'd probably say my favorite one. Wow, that's tough, dude. I guess when he met up with like Bo-Katan and everyone, it was pretty exciting. Just
Oh yeah, definitely.
still Mandalorians around that like didn't take it as serious as he did, and I found it pretty unique that there was like this internal conflict with him of like his religion versus like other Mandalorians.
And the Bill Burr
Yeah.
episode was awesome. Like, come on, let's go.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's anything, any of his scenes was actually just really, really good. Yeah. And I think the Bo-Katan reveal kind of got overshadowed because we were about to see Ahsoka and, then, Grand Admiral Thrawn name drop and, and then we just kept getting all these amazing things and then Boba. But like the Bo-Katan reveal, like I feel like that was not talked about enough. That was incredible. She just literally came flying in, and just like the moment where the camera looks up and you see her helmet, and again, it's just like we can't even see her face, but we know
I
that
forgot
helmet
we
so well.
I forgot we were gonna see her in the season. So when I was watching that episode, I was like, this episode is about to be so boring because he's on a boat. I don't care about this boat. And then
Yeah, the boat was
Bo-Katan
random.
comes up and I'm like, oh hey, I remember you. Also, Nikk, real quick, I don't think people can hear you on the stream. Just a heads up.
Nikk,
Yeah.
he's
Because we're talking about music and we can't hear you. And we have
I
to hear
know,
you. We
and
have to
you
hear
have great
your musical
musical, you
voice.
have great musical insight too. We
Yeah.
can hear you. Mando season 2. Hey,
It
that
was
was a good time. I'm ready.
honestly, we've talked about Mandalorian so much in just these last 5-6 episodes that we've done. We could talk about that season all the time, all day, every day.
Its own podcast.
Yeah, I mean, really, it really could. But here's an interesting question: what would Star Wars be like if it had no music? I could sum it up in one word.
Ooh.
I would personally take that responsibility on and try to make music.
It'd be soulless,
Yeah, it really would.
Soulless. That's a
Star
good
Trek.
word for it. It would be Star Trek.
Oh,
Oh, that's such a good rec. I'm gonna use that.
I mean, some of those scenes, like by themselves, are only impactful and memorable because of the music behind it. Music is just such a universal language amongst everyone.
Oh, definitely.
Just having that tone and the ambience of whatever the soundtrack is playing at the time just helps reinforce what the director is trying to convey for the scene. So
I mean, you can't talk about Star Wars without talking about its music. Like it just doesn't work without music. I feel like, a lot of people are always like, oh yeah, Star Wars, the Imperial March, or they say Darth Vader's theme because they don't know that it's called the Imperial March in the same way that they don't know that the Force theme is actually called Binary Sunset. But I'm not here to correct people, I guess. So
yeah. Because if we think about the scene where Luke he goes up to the top of his homestead and he kind of puts his leg up on that little mound and he looks out to the Twin Suns. What if there was no music there? There was no great big swell of music and it was just silence and
I would have been like
wind or something.
I
Imagine that.
like, what are you doing? You're so weird. Go get inside.
Get inside. Get inside. Yeah. Do you think that scene could have the same impact though?
Not at all. No. There's this YouTube series, and they take episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, and they take all the laugh tracks out of it, and you realize like this show isn't funny unless they tell us what's funny, right? Like it's like soulless. Where shows like The Office can be funny without them having to tell us when to laugh. Like there's no fake laughter behind it, right? And that's what would be like. Star Wars would just be like soulless. It would just be like the tone. The tone would be so weird. It'd be so anticlimactic. It would just be the sounds of when there's a fight scene. It would just be the sounds of lightsabers clashing, and I don't know. Like it relies. I mean, every great piece of like cinema and TV, I feel it relies so much heavily on music, and it can make or break a scene or a movie, definitely. So Star Wars, just like John Williams and everyone involved making the music for the show, is just and the movies is just like absolute world class. It makes all the rest of us musicians like, oh, we suck.
Yeah, definitely. And like and again, like what you were saying, it has so much gravity into a scene and brings so much emotion. Like if you just think about Jewel of the Fates, think of that whole scene, that whole lightsaber sequence without that music would be such a different story, such a different
See a
story.
lot of grunting and heavy breathing. It's so awkward.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sure there's an edit of that somewhere in the internet. I'm sure that someone's edited it to be like that.
Sure.
I would watch that. I would watch that.
Yes.
So good. Well, thank you so much, Corey and Drew, for joining us today. This has been a wonderful chat of all the great things about Star Wars music and how influential it has been. We've had some great discussions. And also, you have your new single out, which is a cover single. Is that right, Jordan?
Watermelon Sugar, yes.
Yeah.
It is out on all music streaming platforms. And where else? Can I am not good at words today. I'm just gonna let it.
Not the day. All right, tap it.
Where else can people find your music and content?
Yeah, for sure. We try to make it pretty easy. Pretty much all of our handles everywhere is at We Are Felicity. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere like that. And then we're on Spotify. If you search Felicity Watermelon Sugar, you'll find our new song. And in a couple of weeks, we're gonna be releasing a new single that's going to be original music off our next album. So we have the Watermelon Sugar was just like the taste of like what's now going to be our whole album rollout of our album that's coming out soon. And so yeah, we'll have some original music that we wrote coming out in a couple weeks.
Wow.
We also have the
So exciting.
Sugar music video.
Yes, and we have a music video for Watermelon Sugar on YouTube as well, which is basically just.
Yeah, I checked that out the other day. That is hilarious. Just the whole sequence of everything that happens is just fantastic. Definitely.
That's what happens when you just, quarantine a band in our bass player's house and say, hey, you can't go anywhere or invite anyone over, but you need to film a music video. So we just had a fun day and filmed everything, and that's kind of what came out of it.
It was a good time. It was such a good time. So yeah, be sure to check out Felicity the band. We do have a link in the description below if you want to check them out. And once again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It was great chatting with you.
Thanks so much for having us, guys.